What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all very much. Hope everybody's week's off to a good start. Happy hump day on this September 11th. Well, it's Wednesday. We're going to see this moon in Sagittarius. We've got the sun in Virgo, of course. It's going to be at 19 degrees, coming to 20. We got Jupiter over there at 20 degrees of Gemini. So today's really the big punch of the Sun-Jupiter square that's going on here in these mutable signs right now of Virgo and Gemini. And of course, it's a very mutable time as we see Saturn retrograde in Pisces, Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and a moon in Sag. So there's just so much mutability. And as we're coming up on eclipses, change is palpable. There's definitely an undercurrent that's palpable. We can taste it, smell it, feel it. There's some sense, orientation to different changes that are happening. And on one side with the Sun Jupiter, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves on this square and think that every single thing is possible, or that every single thing at this moment in time, I should say, is possible. We got to somewhat keep our egos in check. We got to run a lot of checks and balances. We got to run a lot of different situations over and make sure that there's purity, that there's truth, that they are, certain things we're trying to expand and explore. Like, does it dial in spiritually? I think that's where a lot of the Pisces energy comes in, especially with the moon going through the galactic center today, finishing up and just peeking into Capricorn by the evening, but also squaring Neptune. There's so much sensitive energy, a lot of confusing energy, as Mars is also at 4 degrees of Cancer, starting to really square these nodes as we come into eclipse season. So there's so much exploration that's taking place, and a lot of finding where we're going and what we're doing, and the proper changes and the analytics of certain things that we're realizing, or certain things that are becoming very apparent in our day-to-day lives. And there's definitely a flow state. There's definitely a knowing inside in a very special way that's definitely this is exactly what would benefit you. This is exactly what would bring more fruit of your labor into existence, while not just bypassing situations. But we have to be okay too with maybe not having that channel wide open at the same time. I feel like for some people it will be really open today, and then I feel like for other people it's going to feel like there's a lot of little whispers coming in and out, and that there's not a whole bunch of clarity. And there soon will be clarity. Mercury is just a day and a half away from coming out of post-retrograde shadow and strong here in Virgo. So there's more understanding coming that can make a lot more functional, realistic sense. Today's kind of spacey, a little confusing, almost to the point of a delirium where we would really kind of need to check egos in a sense of I really shouldn't do that right now. That's going beyond my means, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's monetary. We need to be somewhat careful about just kind of knowing what's pure and what's maybe not. What's a little bit more detrimental. What's a little bit more of an escape. Are we just spending to acquire something that'll make us feel better and give us a dopamine hit? Are we just looking for connection with others for a dopamine hit, or some sense of approval or recognition? Or are we able to, really hone in to our emotions and act powerfully from an emotional place and identify things that need to be seen and understood more? So there's definitely a really positive chance for really seeing some really clear aspects of the journey right now. And there's also some really, how are you going to ever find that? And that's what makes today interesting. It's this midweek. There's just Definitely trying to find all this balance, all this harmony with the South Node in Libra and Venus in Libra. Venus is starting to trine over to Jupiter. Quincunx Saturn. There's so much far out energy, it's cool. But there's also very like, sort of like humbling energy too. So wherever we're getting humbled, it's to kind of check our ego so that we can use different statistics that we've acquired about certain things we're doing to get a better grasp on them and to use them, you know, in a more mature, in a more, I think, emotionally and physically mature way, while simultaneously also knowing when we do need to take a break. Because maybe this Wednesday is like, maybe we need to chill out and have a moment with some music, have a moment of meditation, have a moment, you know, where we're just able to connect spiritually or creatively with the reality. Maybe, you know, there's also a part of today that's like really solid for like going for a hike. So I feel like for a lot of people today, if you feel like there's a lot of confusion in the air and you're just not sure, get outside, pick up your paintbrush, pick up your pen, your pencil, your musical instrument, your headphones, something that just can kind of, in a healthy way, take you out of the hustle and bustle to get you to find center. And I think through center, you know, point within ourselves and center with spirit and God, like there's clear messages today that are super helpful and they can bring a lot of abundance and some cool stuff our way. And then there's the other side of this that's like, gosh, like you understand what to do. You're getting all the right signals, all the right, you know, openings from the universe. Like take what you're getting and, you know, go after it. Put that vision to work and see if that vision is the proper quest. And I'm not saying you gotta go on a vision quest today, but it's kind of got that energy of a vision quest, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it's more of a sobering vision quest and like either using constructive data for the, you know, how you're mapping things out right now in your life, or if you feel lost and confused, you really want to connect right now and really figure out ways to balance in the left and the right brain, the intuitive brain and the linear brain, so that they can work cohesively today. Because I think if we're able to see into the distance far enough, it's easier to be more linear, but more open about the linearity and not expecting things right away and not expecting some like magical boom, this is gonna be everything I ever needed. But like, no, and again, like you're everything you ever needed, and you just got to put that fortitude, that power, that work, your mind, your heart, your soul into things right now, and have faith that it's going to work out. But again, it's not just the faith, like it's the effort. As the moon finishes the day, just barely on the west coast, slipping into Capricorn, getting ready to square these nodes before an eclipse. So lots of checks going on, lots of like identification checks, lots of ego checks. So today's very interesting. Pay attention to the signs. Take a break if you need to and center and find out what the message really is if you're not getting it clear enough. And if you're getting it, do something with it. Write it, talk it, speak it, act on it. Trust yourself right now. You know, that's the big thing, is like believing and trusting in yourself to bring balance and harmony into your life in any way that you want it. Whether it's a job, a relationship, work, something you're just trying to create, something you're trying to produce. Definitely a good day for the vision. Good day to look outside the box. The moon's also going to quincunx Uranus. A lot of like far out energy. It's kind of it's a little bit of a vision quest. So I hope you find your vision today. I hope you try to, if you're not feeling like you are, that you try to connect in a spiritual manner, or get around nature, like touch a tree and see if it talks to you, you know. There's that kind of vibe today. And I do think if we listen to it, it definitely shows us, something we can improve on in some way, however we connect with that. That really is a beneficial sort of awakening to how special the journey of life is, and how special the journey of life is right now, even though it feels as hard and as steep as ever before, because it certainly does. So I don't want to pretend like that isn't a thing, with all the different mutability and changes and eclipses and Pluto back in Capricorn. This is like such a predestined time in our lives. And let's just be grateful for the journey, So that's the other thing, is having, I think, a solid sense of gratitude for change and the mutation and the alchemization of ourselves as we go through the journey, and how many, times we do change, and how beautiful growth is, and how growth doesn't happen if we stay stagnant. Kind of like this creek, it's gotta keep moving, and we gotta keep moving too. And I think as long as we're going in the flow, it's not so bad. We might have to dodge some rocks, might have to do a little bit of maneuvering, put some effort in, but at least we're not completely fighting any currents and struggling. And I think today is just a great opportunity to see, like, you get to decide kind of how hard you want to make your journey. Now, I'm definitely not saying that in a sense that, like, you don't need to work hard for things that you want or that you're passionate about. I think that's a good thing, to work hard for your passions and to see those things come, play out and, be real. But it's a work smarter, not harder thing, right? We don't need to try and force certain things that are completely not an option right now, because our ego thinks we are Zeus and we can do whatever we want. And then we're this almighty, Marvel superhero. To extents, we have these superpowers too. Like, humans are amazing. It's incredible what humans are capable of and can do. I never want to discount that, but we got to be real with ourselves too, and realize, like, if we're not Spider-Man, we're not gonna fucking climb the wall, and we can't shoot web. So we probably shouldn't try to go up in some crazy situation and save the day and be like, I'm gonna wrap you up in my web, because it's not gonna work. So there's a realisticness to the energy right now that I want people to pay attention to, but there is the knowing of superpowers within you that's important, and believing in yourself enough to access certain powers that are going to help us really do something, really move forward, really put ourselves in the driver's seat, and keep that strong identification of ourselves going, because that's really what it's about right now, is identifying that we're on a journey and we better make it the best journey we can. And I feel like Pluto in Capricorn is like gonna destroy time as we know it. So right now, time is maybe more valuable than ever. Because what you do now might matter the most for the revolution to come, as an individual, as a partner, as a lover, as a father, as a mother, as a collective. So, hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I do sincerely hope that the creek isn't too loud, or at least that you like the ASMR of the water. And we'll see what the card is for today. Got the World upright. It's pretty amazing. Gosh, we've been pulling some really good cards lately, which just makes me think like how beautiful it is, right? Like, this is kind of like a graduation card. And I think a lot of us have graduated, and that's why it's like there's this nervousness of change, because it's almost like We're going to a new school, and there's going to be more people, new things, new teachers, new lessons, maybe more homework. I don't know, but there's this very divine completion of so many things that's been, that is molding and shaping your reality and your journey and your faith and your love and your heart and your empathy and all these really, amazing qualities of humanity and of you and I. And like, we just got to embrace that we've arrived. It's the card of Saturn. We've karmically hit a point where it's like, time to step up. We got to do it. We don't have a choice. And I think that's where there's this nervousness or certain fears or insecurities, because we still kind of are like unsure if we have that extra gear in some way in life, some part of life. No matter how confident we are at whatever we're doing, there's something that we're like, ooh, want to, but just not sure enough. And I think that this is definitely saying it's time to graduate and get on with it and realize that another cycle is about to start. And it's just not a cycle that you need to doubt your abilities now. You want to use every tool you got, every ability you got, everything you've worked for, everything, use it. Everything that's happened up until now happened for a reason, so that you could use every tool in your tool bag for the next cycle. A lot of completion energy, a lot of like seeing some really cool visions of the journey and of the future, I think, today. So be proud of yourselves, and like, that's the other thing. And it's a 21, and it's so funny, because I was just talking with a friend and a client about the number 21 and how it's the number of Reiki, and how Reiki was a big part of my journey as an astrologer. And it's just like a very divine number, and it makes a 3, and we're in these Jupiter squares. And it's not that there's no luck, there is, but it's luck that we've identified and that we're ready to go get, because we know we graduated, and after graduation, like, why would we not move on to whatever the next is? We can't just play in the same little pond forever. We've outgrown a lot of things spiritually and physically. So keep moving forward, my friends. I love you all very much. Enjoy the graduation. Celebrate certain graduations. If people are leaving, that's a graduation. If a job's changing, that's a graduation. If you're moving, that's a graduation. Even if they're all things that you didn't necessarily want to happen right now, it's all a graduation. And there's just no room to be scared of change anymore. We've all experienced so much of it through our lives. Like, let's start to embrace that, so that we can really use our skills for where that change is taking us. And I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. I love you. Have a beautiful Wednesday. I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.